I'll say it real slow. All right, no, I'm not gonna say I was wrong. No, I still think the KV-2 is pretty bad. However, I think I exaggerated it in my last KV-2 video, pretty much because I'd been playing the Smasher just before. But now that I don't have the Smasher, I must say the KV-2 is a decent alternative. It's okay. So let's go ahead and talk about the KV-2. So when you come in here, the hit point's 950, which is pretty good for a tier 6. It's for a tier 6 heavy, that's pretty much just average, maybe a little higher than average. I'm not quite sure. I don't play that much tier 6. That being said, the armor on it, just like the Smasher, it has very little armor. You can HE, if you're in a Smasher, an SU-152, or another KV-2, you can HE this little window right here on a KV-2. So, not the greatest of armor. That's kind of the big thing with the KV-2. Damage per minute, fairly average, I think, 1,767. 21-second reload time, which is a little bit painful. That being said, the penetration also isn't the greatest, excluding the HE penetration. 115 millimeters of pen on your AP, 143 on your AP Premium, then with your HE 84 pen. I mean, I've already done a video on the KV-2, so clearly I'm not going to go over all the stats here. Really good alpha on it. And then 7 degrees of gun depression, which isn't that bad. I mean, if you play it properly, you shouldn't be using all of those degrees of gun depression anyways. But and then the dispersion, just, it sucks. It's not even worth reading off the numbers there. And then the mobility is okay. I mean, it gets around. It's not slow. It goes about 35 kilometers an hour. So you'll get from point A to B at a speed. It's not a bad speed. I don't know. Anyways, let's just take this thing into a live game. Actually, I need to mark it for supremacy or encounter. There we go. Trying to raise my win rate, get back into a 70% win rate, and yeah, need encounter for that, but hopefully we'll get in here. And then I also have an ace replay to kind of show you guys what some better gameplay of the KV-2 looks like. And I'm going to kind of save my explanation on the use of HE in this tank for the next replay, because I'll be able to talk more in depth on HE when I'm not playing, clearly. And that replay uses a lot of HE very, I wouldn't say super wisely, but in pretty good situations. So I think, I'm always conflicted with alpha tanks what to do on this map. All right, let's go ahead, and I guess I'm just gonna go over to C, and if my team wants to push up on the hill, I'll go on the hill with them. But yeah, I don't know. Let's just go ahead and push here. This map, Castilla, is it? It's an interesting map. It's one of my favorites, but it's also one of the most painful maps, because teams, you've always got two mediums that split over to A, like two mediums, two lights, or like a TD that goes over, or a TD that camps in the back. Oh, and in our situation here, we've got a heavy in the back, so that's apparently how that's supposed to work. And let's just go ahead, push up here, HE the Magnus, because we can't pin him, and get back. What? Churchill. Oh my. Alright, you know what? Well, we're fine. We're fine. This is fine. Let's go ahead, push up here, load AP Premium, pull up. Ooh. Yeah, no. Something inside of me said, I don't think you're gonna pin that. Let's go ahead and get back here. And let's not get hit by the Magnus, please. Maybe. Oh, yes. God smiled down on us and we didn't get hit by the Magnus. I know I'm tempting fate here, but let's pull out here. No, Magnus, stop. Oh, my game froze for a fat second. Alright, that's fine. Alright, who done it? Who's hitting me? I don't much appreciate that. Oh, I can't even see you. Alright, HE right in the bush. If that hit. Anyways, yeah, look at this. Our team is, it looks like he hit a small child with one of those electric fly swatters. That's fantastic. So let's go ahead and push up here. Do we still have a Magnus and an M6 back here? Yeah, would you look at that, we do. Let's go ahead, pull around here, and let's just, this is going to be our final sacrifice. Our engine's broken, fantastic. But we took out the M6, so barrel up and hope we get to safety. If not, we've got our barrel up, so yeah. Nashorn that did that to us. Okay, so apparently we didn't hit him with the HE, because that HE would have wiped him, but it looks like we're going to win. So, yeah, not the best game, but actually I think that's a good representation of what you can expect. The KV-2, because it's got such a long reload time and not the best accuracy or penetration, you're going to have a lot of bruh kind of games. Yeah. Anyways, let's go ahead and pull up that replay. And I think because I've been playing the KV-2 so much, because like I've said before, I adore derp. My average damage is going down like crazy. Although I did get a couple aces in it, which is nice. But let's go ahead. Replays. And it would be Fort Despair. Yeah, it's Fort Despair. I totally knew that. So let's go ahead and talk about HE. So just to talk about the mechanics of HE. Basically, HE can do two things. Well, technically three things. It can not penetrate and not do any damage. It can not penetrate and do splash damage, because when it hits something, it kind of just has some grenade action that goes on and blows up and damages anything that's pretty much hanging out. You know, guns, tracks, cupula, technically a viewport is what you'd call it when you're talking about modules, but stuff like that. It's going to do a lot of damage. And it also increases the chance of doing damage to a module. So if you say penetrates the back of a tank with HE and you hit the engine, chances are you're going to take out the engine if you don't absolutely wipe that tank with your HE round. Or if you hit them with the ammo rack, your chances of ammo racking go up ever so slightly, which is fantastic. And then when you penetrate people with HE, that is when all hell is let loose. Basically, when you penetrate with HE, it goes through the armor and it blows up anything on the inside of a tank, which I believe to be the important part of a tank, is exposed to this blast. And that's where you get a lot of that damage in. But HE also moves extremely slow compared to rounds like AP or APCR. But it also doesn't lose its abilities to penetrate over a distance, because its penetration relies on the explosion part, which is a chemical reaction. So if it's, you know, moving at a really slow velocity, then it doesn't really matter, because, you know, if you're carrying explosives, they're still just as dangerous as if you're throwing them. So clearly speed doesn't matter there, or velocity. Sorry, I know I'm gonna have some physics geek yelling at me. Anyways, and if you're a physics geek, I'm sorry, but I know a lot of physics geeks and you guys don't have it easy. So anyways, so HE is pretty darn vital. When with tanks like the KV-2, where you don't have very great penetration values, what you need to do is have a little bit extra HE, so that way when you can't penetrate people, or it's kind of iffy and you don't want to risk not getting any damage, you can just load HE and do some splash damage. Now at this point I was hoping I could get the IS to focus tracks out, but you know what, 44 damage and a kill, I'll take it. I think it led to a winning game. Did it? I think it did. I don't know. Anyways, I know I got the replay and I know very little about it. So always check with HE when you're behind people. Unless you're behind a super heavy, of course, then that's a waste of your time and you should be focused on aiming in on the tank. But there's definitely, HE is kind of a complex thing, and HE is something that you typically want to aim in with, that is, unless you're going for splash damage. If you're going for splash damage, then it doesn't matter too much where the HE hits. Just know that if you shoot at, say, trying to think of a tank that has a kind of armor, let's say a KV-2 with HE. The KV-2 doesn't have a lot of armor, and it doesn't penetrate. You're going to do a little bit more damage shooting with the same tanks. So say we're shooting a KV-2 with a KV-2, you're going to get maybe 300 damage splashing and not penetrating another KV-2. But if you're shooting at a heavy, like say an M6, and you don't penetrate, you're going to do a little bit less damage because that thicker armor is going to protect your HE. So if you haven't caught on quite yet, what I'm really stressing here is to play the KV-2 effectively, you need to know your HE. Really, the Smasher HE is just kind of there as an extra bonus because the Smasher doesn't have half bad penetration on it. And also same to the SU-152 there. But HE is also a considerably cheaper round. So keep that in mind. If you have an opportunity to shoot HE and you're comfortable with it penetrating, you know, I certainly wouldn't use HE if it's like you and your opponent are both one shots and this shot decides the game. I wouldn't use HE there because that's a little risky. But if you have the chance to use HE and you're comfortable doing it, it's going to save you quite a few credits, and you'll make just, you know, maybe 1,000 credits more for every HE round that you shoot as compared to, say, an AP or APCR round. So, yeah, that's pretty much the big thing with the HE. There's more to the mechanics, but I've already geeked out enough about it. But let's see, there we go. There we switched. Also, very nice shot from the KV-3 there. But yeah, HE, it's vital. You got to know how to play your HE. Take it into a practice room. I've got several people that I'm helping just help improve their stats. And a big thing that I stress is when you have a chance, get into practice rooms with friends. Do that. It helps a lot. Practice rooms, just practice your aiming, snapshots, you know, just quickly turning, shooting, stuff like that. Little bit off topic, sorry. But yeah, that's pretty much the big tips for the KV-2 is learn to use HE. And yeah, I'm not going to say I was completely wrong about the KV-2. It's still a pretty bad tank. But like I said at the beginning, I'll admit it was probably exaggerated how bad I was saying the KV-2 was. I'll go ahead and link the last KV-2 video in the description if you want to watch it. But yeah, I think I was just really disappointed as compared to what it used to be. But I've come to terms in my morning of the absolute beast the KV-2 was. So yeah, that's pretty much it, and I'll see you all in the next one.
If I wrote you a letter, would I have a chance? Would you read my letter if I had it sent? If I wrote you